Self. The self is considered as ancient and ageless because the eternal truth is that the one which was before all creation, which remains the same all through the ages of existence, and which shall ever remain the same even after the projection of plurality have ended. The self is unborn. The old and ancient self indicates the one that provides a substratum even for the concept of plurality. The self is never born at the birth of the body. It was already there to illumine that experience. The self is changeless. In case we find something that came as reality as an effect, and we will have to inquire what caused the cause from which the perceived effect has came from. This unending muddle of causation hunting will catch us and drown us in the welter of regress and infinitum. This mortal self I was talking about is our Puja Gurudev Swami Chinmaya Saraswati, who took birth on 8th May, which is known as Chinmaya Jayanti, and this day is also celebrated as Seva Day. Let us all sing the birthday song and experience the grace of Gurudev. The song was specially composed by Puja Guruji for Chinmaya Jayanti. On 8th May 1916 took place the birth of Sri Swami Chinmayananda, named Balakrishna, in Kerala. He was initiated by Guru Chatambi Swami when he was still a baby. Even as a playful child, he revealed in meditation on Lord Shiva. As a youth, he was good in sports and excelled at grasping knowledge. Sri Swami Chinmayananda gained his education in Lucknow. He studied law and journalism and became a journalist. Then he joined the freedom struggle of India. He was also imprisoned during this time. Then he sought Sri Swami Sivananda Maharaj, who initiated him into sannyasa and gave him the name Swami Chinmayananda. Swami Chinmayananda visited the ashram in Uttarakasi as a disciple of Swami Tapovan Maharaj. There he studied Vedantas, Shastras and pleased his Guru, gained his affection, grace and blessings. Inspired by the flow of Ganga, he started Jnana Yajna and inspired innumerable people who loved him and established Chinmaya Mission. He spread the knowledge of Gita and established Sandipani Ashram, constructed many temples and helped many seekers.
Heart filled with compassion, Swami Chinmayananda engaged himself in the welfare of people, educated children, the youth by establishing Chinmaya Vidyalayas. He motivated the people for serving the society and offered medical help to the needy. He established the glory of Sanskrit language through Chinmaya International Foundation and published many books. He was always engaged in devotion, service of the society through Jnana Yajna, Jnana Karma, Karma Yoga, and many more. Ever pure and liberated, he attained Mahasamadhi in his own Swarupa. O Gurudev, may we all be always devoted to you.
Chinmaya Mahima Ganam Bhukti Mukti Mangal Rupam Gurum Smaramas Sada Prasannam Chinmaya Sadguru Namo Namah Chinmaya Sadguru Namo Namah Chinmaya Sadguru Namo Namah Chinmaya Sadguru Namo Namah.
Gurudev's lines from a letter to Cinderella. Because he was good, all things good came to her. The ugly duckling recognized that she was a swan. The good Samaritan was safe. Krishna could not be killed. Rama rescued Sita. The good are always blessed. Be good. You will have everything good added to you.
Kerala dese prakatita Chinmaya Balakrishna Namnayuta Chinmaya Chattambe Guru Sikshita Chinmaya Chai Savehi Samskarita Chinmaya Chinmaya Sadguru Namo Namah Chinmaya Sadguru Namo Namah Chinmaya Sadguru Namo Namah Chinmaya Sadguru Namo Namah.
Quite often, people who met Gurudev were completely awed by his presence. Once, while Gurudev was waiting for a flight at the airport, a young man walked up to him and did his namaskars. He then sat cross-legged before him and asked a little breathlessly, Swamiji, how can I become a great man like you? Swamiji looked at him through half-closed eyes and said, why do you want to be a great man? Being a man will be a great achievement itself. Do not you think?
चञ्चलमानस बालक चिन्मय तथापि शिवध्याने रथ चिन्मय क्रीडा प्रवीण युवा प्रिय चिन्मय विद्याग्रहण कुशलवर चिन्मय चिन्मय सद्गुरु नमो नमः चिन्मय सद्गुरु नमो नमः चिन्मय सद्गुरु नमो नमः चिन्मय सद्गुरु नमो नमः.
Can't stop laughing. Gurudev was known to be ready-witted and often cracked jokes, sometimes particularly to illustrate a point. Once in a satsang, Gurudev cracked a joke. It was funny. We all laughed. Sometime later, Gurudev cracked the same joke again and we laughed again. The third time he repeated it. There were some sneakers here and there, but nobody really laughed. The fourth time around, everybody looked at him completely bewildered. Why was Gurudev repeating the same joke again and again? Why, he asked, don't you find the joke funny anymore? If you can't laugh at the same joke again and again, why you cry over the same thing again and again? Drop it. Interesting people are those who are interested in whatever they do. Boring people are those who are in themselves bored with their own lives. The day you have the first good laugh at yourself, you start growing up. So laugh, ha 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 ha, and grow.
लक्ष्णौ नगरे शिक्षितचिन्मय विद्धिवसाङ्गविशारदचिन्मय व्रतपात्रलेखकावरचिन्मय स्वतन्त्रता सङ्ग्रामकचिन्मय चिन्मय सद्गुरु नमो नमः चिन्मय सद्गुरु नमो नमः चिन्मय सद्गुरु नमो नमः चिन्मय सद्गुरु नमो नमः.
Open the door. Do you ever find and say, nobody loves me? Here is what Pujya Gurudev has to say about it. Very often we have some people complaining that nobody loves me. The world is full of love, but generally our hearts are not open for the love to gush into us. The door of your heart remains closed. Nobody other than you can throw it open. For the door of your heart is locked from inside and it can be opened only from within. Stop crying, find the handle and open the door. Lo, it has opened. Open up and receive the love that comes to you.
तदर्थकारगृहगतचिन्मय तथा शिवानन्दाश्रितचिन्मय सन्न्यासी गुरुदीक्षितचिन्मय चिन्मयानन्दविधानचिन्मय चिन्मय सद्गुरु नमो नमः चिन्मय सद्गुरु नमो नमः चिन्मय सद्गुरु नमो नमः चिन्मय सद्गुरु नमो नमः.
Gurudev talks were to start at 6:30 p.m. sir. The chief guest was to be the Vice President of India. We waited and waited, but there was no sign of the chief guest. 10 minutes on and Gurudev stood purposefully to the podium and started speaking. 20 minutes after the scheduled time, the chief guest walked in. He was led to a seat in the front row and became a part of the audience. He had lost the opportunity to address the gathering because of his late arrival. That evening, Gurudev spoke about discipline in our personal lives. He spoke about the importance of maintaining punctuality each time, every time. You have no business to take other people's time for granted, he thundered. If you think your time is valuable, then kindly extend the same courtesy to others and respect their time as well. Time is the one commodity, the only commodity, he said, which is given in equal measure to all, rich and poor, old and young, men and women. Nothing else is so perfectly distributed. Everything else is unevenly distributed, be it health, wealth, emotions, learning, knowledge. No two people have the same. The only thing that is given in equal measure to all is time. That was the one reason that he has such tremendous respect for our armed forces. Their sense of personal discipline and punctuality are worth emulating for all of us, he would often say.
उत्तरकस्य श्रमागतचिन्मय स्वामितपोवनप्रशिष्यचिन्मय सहस्राध्यात्मपठानतचिन्मय प्रीतिप्राप्तगुरुप्रसादचिन्मय चिन्मय सद्गुरु नमो नमः चिन्मय सद्गुरु नमो नमः चिन्मय सद्गुरु नमो नमः चिन्मय सद्गुरु नमो नमः.
Two small girls panted breathlessly to Pujya Gurudev Swami Chinmayanand and said, Gurudev, what is your message for us? Gurudev was leaving the auditorium after watching the annual day celebration of the school. He smiled and patted both of them on the back. Keep smiling, he said, meaning no matter what challenges or situations come in your life, always face them with a smile. Two small words
loaded with big meaning. Gurudev often used them in his written messages and when he signed autograph and photograph for people. Keep smiling. गंगाधर शन प्रेरिक चिन्मय ज्ञानज्ञ प्रारंभक चिन्मय असंख्य जन प्रिय प्रेरक चिन्मय चिन्मय संस्था स्थापक चिन्मय चिन्मय सद्गुरु नमो नमः चिन्मय सद्गुरु नमो नमः चिन्मय सद्गुरु नमो नमः चिन्मय सद्गुरु नमो नमः.
Once Gurudev was the chief guest of Chinmaya Vidyalaya in New Delhi. It so happened that an important item in his itinerary was overlooked. The person who was in charge was completely flustered and kept on apologizing him again and again. That day, when Gurudev addressed the audience, he said, "We cannot recall the past to do what we have failed to do. Also, we cannot fly to our future and carry out our actions there. Yesterday was, tomorrow it will be. Today is with us. Today belongs to us." It burst out with opportunities to earn, serve, love and live, to make our life rich and fruitful. If we use today and live today, then our country is made, may the world is saved.
गीता यज्ञ प्रचारक चिन्मय आश्रम संधिपनिकृत चिन्मय अनेक मंदिर निर्मित चिन्मय उपकर का साधका जन चिन्मय चिन्मय सद्गुरु नमो नमः चिन्मय सद्गुरु नमो नमः चिन्मय सद्गुरु नमो नमः चिन्मय सद्गुरु नमो नमः.
इन्द्रियाणि प्रमाथीनि हरन्ति प्रसभं मनः. The senses are powerful and turbulent. They loot the mind, they sweep it away. Gurudev was talking on Gita chapter 2. What did you think was the most sensual act? Really speaking, eating is the most sensual act. Know why? Because when we eat, all our senses come into play. First, we smell the food. Then we see it. The smell, the sight, the colors entice and tempt us. Next, we touch the food and feel its various textures. After that, we put the food in our mouth and taste it. We also hear the food when we crunch on Crispies, papad or salad. Think, we consider eating to be a simple and essential act. In fact, it is the most sensual thing we do 3 times a day, if not more often. Then it doesn't matter whether you are young or old, a swami or a grihastha. That is why it is also the most difficult thing to give up, because you are denying all your senses at once of their pleasure and dominance.
करुणपूरित मानस चिन्मय सकल जनानां हितरत चिन्मय बालकयोग प्रशिक्षक चिन्मय विद्यालय संस्थापक चिन्मय चिन्मय सद्गुरु नमो नमः चिन्मय सद्गुरु नमो नमः चिन्मय सद्गुरु नमो नमः चिन्मय सद्गुरु नमो नमः.
The chanting came to an end. Our Gurudev gazed swept us all. Then our Gurudev suddenly raised up his hand and started chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Luto Ram, Luto Krishna. He said, chucking his shoulders and grinning at us. Do you even know what you are chanting? Hare in Sanskrit means loot away, take away. In that way, Hare Ram would mean, O Ram, loot away, take away. In that way, Hare Krishna would mean, O Krishna, loot away, take away. But loot away, take away what? Loot away my bad works, my bad karmas, my misdoings, my bad sins, and my negativities. With great feeling, he ended up the prayer again by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
समाज सेवा
stream in which we stand to play his game. Let your attention be on the game that you tirelessly play with him. Losing or winning has no meaning. His laughter and joy is our goal. Gurudev did not merely say it, he did it. He lived every word of what he wrote above. He encountered trials with his smiles. Bad health could not sag his spirits. The pressure of running a huge organization, handling difficult situations and people only added to the spice of his life. How positive, cheerful, and dynamic he was. He had the right attitude. Play the game of life like he did. Emerge a winner.
ज्ञान भक्ति सेवामय चिन्मय नित्य शुद्ध गुरु विमुक्त चिन्मय महासमोधायु संचित चिन्मय भक्तिरस्तु नस्ताव्य हि चिन्मय चिन्मय सद्गुरु नमो नमः चिन्मय सद्गुरु नमो नमः चिन्मय सद्गुरु नमो नमः चिन्मय सद्गुरु नमो नमः.
Whatever a leader does, his followers imitate. Whatever example he sets, others follow. In this verse, Lord Sri Krishna talked about the impact of a leader on the society. Pujya Gurudev was a very good leader on every path on his way. He was a fine person who always watched over his disciples, raised his iron hand whenever needed, and showered love unconditionally. He mastered in giving talks on Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads. He was led, for example, there was a rule in the ashram to wake up before 4:30, and one would always find Gurudev's bedroom's light on much before that hour. He would be studying there. He never had a formal MBA degree, but he gave talks to many MBA students and tips advices to CEOs. Everyone was astonished about how he could manage the Chinmaya mission, a global organization with more than 300 centers, temples, ashrams, people, projects. Yes, he could well manage all the finance, administration, and people, along with all the projects. Of course, every doubt cleared, every rupee counted, every question answered, and every project completed. He took interest in all departments, may it be publication, publicity, communication, construction, culture, celebration, whatever. He was a true leader who always walked with his head up, with a chin, beard, and a beautiful smile. He was a true leader, and others who only loot,